False start. Good morning. Hi, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine. Thanks for joining me. I am the creator of the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. That's Formula A is 4 moves right there. Formula B is 8 moves right there. Formula A moves a piece to the top and twists corners as needed. Formula B moves 3 pieces around. And that is everything else that you need to do. It works on every complexity Rubik's Cube, no matter what size. Because the corners are moved. There works on every side of complexity Rubik's Cube and every complexity Minx can be solved with just Formula A and just Formula B. Today I'm playing with Minxes, unless anyone has questions for me. What? Sorry, I have a cat. Good morning. Okay. Quick overview for the A and B. Formula A will bring a piece to the top. I use it for the corners and the absolute center. You can also use it for the first face, but you can only use it for the first face because it affects all the sides. So I don't teach it for the first face. But it's 1 row, 1 column. When it's the center row and the center column, this is what happens. You're going to move this piece to the top. So I'm going to move this row and this column. This is the intersection of them. So I move this piece away, move the space down, move the piece into the space, and the piece in the space back up again, and that's Formula A. Works on all 6 sides, so it's used for the absolute center, and it's also used for the corners, bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up. This is where the action is, so this piece wants to come to the top, so I move it away from the action, out, move the space down, move the piece in, and the piece in the space back up again. So it switches these 2 pieces, and it twists this corner around. It also switches these 2, it also switches these centers, but it doesn't matter that does that because I want to keep this one twisted, so I'm going to rotate the top to move it out of the way. I'm going to continue doing Formula A, and when it is done in a multiple of 6 times, which except for the first 4 corners it will always be, then the rest of the cube is not affected. So to set again for the centers, it's out, down, in, up. Once does it clockwise, twice does it counterclockwise, 3 times gets you back to where you were. Okay. And like I said, it will twist corners as well, but when it works on them, it only affects the top layer because the top layer is the only thing that we're moving in the middle of the set, and the rest of the cube is unaffected. Whenever you have 2 pieces that are in the right place, 2 corners that are in the right place but need to be twisted, if you have 3 corners that need to be twisted, they'll be twisted in the same direction. If you have 2 corners, they'll be twisted in opposite direction, just because of the mathematics of the cube. It's how it works. To put it back, again, Formula A, and I'm going to until my top is the way I want it to be. Then I'm going to slide it out of the way and continue on a next piece, another piece that I can twist, that wants to be twisted. So you can't ever twist just one corner because of the mathematics of the cube. Okay, so that's Formula A. Formula B is top row and 2 columns, and depending on which 2 columns you use, it makes a difference which things you're moving around. So if you use top row and outside columns, it affects the edges, the corners. I know words, I just don't use them properly. Okay, top row, first column, second column, and it moves these 3 corners around. If I use a top row if I use the top row in 2 different columns, like an outside and an inside column, let's say, for instance, I want to move this piece over here. This is then where it's going to land as my first column, where it begins as my second column. So slide up, slide down, and it moved these 3 edge pieces. And if I use 2 inner columns, it will move the center pieces around. So for instance, I find the piece that I want to apply it to, up, slide it into a different column, and that where it lands is the second column. Reverse, down, set the top again, and so it moves. Formula B can be used to move corners, or edges, or centers. And with that, and Formula A to twist the corners, that's all you need to do to solve every complexity Rubik's Cube. Because you'll notice that neither one of these formulas deals with parities. That's because parities are a lie, and we don't have to deal with parities unless you want to play with them. Because the cube is inherently honest. So if the cube, the reason why you can't get a parity on a 3x3, well, you can, but you have to, this is what caused it. Here's a corner parity, but it only exists because my center turn is a quarter turn off. Okay, on a 3x3 you can't have one parity, you can only have two. Except unless you cannot see, if you can't see where the corners are off, then you can get a parity on the void cube. But with the larger cubes you can get a parity because each one of the centers pieces can be visually correct in one of 4 places instead of just being only correct in one spot. So you can set the cube, make the centers visually correct while the cube itself is out of balance, and that's done by one of your slices being a quarter turn off. So if it looks like there's 2 pieces and only 2 pieces that are out of place, the third piece, and there is always a third piece, is that you don't see, is literally the piece that you don't see. So whatever slice touches that parity is a quarter turn off. Take that slice and rotate it a quarter turn either direction. Solve your edges in that orientation, and the parity, poof, has disappeared. It's all gone. And so I do the corners first because every cube has the 8 corners. And then I do the edges next because that's the next thing that's done on the next size cube up. And then so A and B does the corners, does the edges, does the centers. Actually, Formula A is only used for the absolute center and the corners. You can shortcut it for the first face, but only for the first face. And then everything else is Formula B. Just pick a piece, throw it in the direction it wants to be, and lather, rinse, repeat, and find another piece. Move it up, move it where it wants to be, over and over again. So this is what a parity can look like. Okay, ignore these corners because I have 2 parities on this cube just because I wanted to show you. This is what an edge parity looks like. Okay, so this piece wants to go here, this piece wants to go here, and you can't ever switch 2 pieces. You're always moving 3 pieces. So the formula that will correct this moves these 3 pieces around. So these 2 will go here in the same orientation. This one will go here. So it has the effect of moving these 2, but you're always moving 3 pieces. So my centers are correct here. So when I created this parity, it gave me this parity as well. Because it doesn't matter whether it's 1 quarter turn off, what matters is whether it's an odd number of turns off from correct or an even number of turns off correct. So like for instance, this is just a fidget toy, but I use it to demonstrate what's happening on the cube. If the center is you can create the cube in this orientation. Okay, if you have the center 1 quarter turn off, you cannot create the cube in this orientation because it will give you a parity on the edges or the centers. But if it's 2 turns off, you can do a cube in this orientation. It's just boxes opposites. So it doesn't matter it doesn't matter which direction you turn. As long as it's an odd number of turns off, it'll be a parity. Even number of turns off, it'll be solved. So we don't have to play with parities, but you can if you want to. Parity can show up a lot of different ways, but it's always because the center is a quarter turn off. One of the slices is a quarter turn off. If it's a corner parity, it is the you get the idea. So who all is with me today? Good morning, you guys. Hi, thanks for joining me. So that's the quick overview. Formula A is 4 moves, brings a piece to the top, and twists corners around. Formula B is 8 moves, moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you ever need to do. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to switch to the cube, but it also works on every complexity Minx. And so today, I started yesterday, I'm doing the Minx. We're playing with Minxes today to demonstrate how the ABCube works on the Minxes. This is my controlled Minx. I'm going to show you what the formulas do on this one. And these other ones, the reason I do multiple solves at a time is because if I just do a solve and then do a scramble and then solve it, there's less likelihood that it looks like the cube that's in your hand that you're trying to solve. So the more times I do it, the more you can see what the options are, what the outcomes are, and hopefully you select the video that deals with the step you want to do rather than having to go through the video until you get to the step that you're at and hope that it covers the position, the problem, the question that you have in your mind. So I do multiples at a time. When I'm solving the cube, I would do the 2x2, the 3x3, the 4, and the 5 all at the same time when I'm teaching in real life. Because we humans have a mental roadblock that we slam down in place when we think something is hard. And when I started with the 3x3 to teach someone, and I'm like, no, everything you know about the A and B is still this. That's all you need to do the 4x4 as well. And I would get, nope, that looks harder. I'm just kidding. Thank you. You're very sweet to have taught me the 3x3, but that one looks harder. So I just don't do that anymore. Whenever I teach, I either teach with just the 5x5, and I say anything smaller, there's just things you don't have to do, and anything larger is just more of the same. So it doesn't get more complex than the 5x5. It just gets more redundant. So I teach the 5x5 when I teach in real life. I am also set up to teach in real time over the internet here. I have a Zoom classroom, so I'm happy to give out my Zoom classroom link to anyone who wants to help me demonstrate how the method works, so that I can teach or demonstrate with up to 4 people at a time on my Zoom. More than that, it gets confusing. So, do we have any questions before I start playing with my Minxes? Give you guys a chance to ask a question. Okay, I love to chat more than I love to monologue, but solving cubes is very fun for me. But there's nothing more fun in the world for me than teaching someone a Rubik's Cube, because most of the people who ask me to teach them have like my brother tried to teach me and I couldn't learn it, or you know, I tried when I was little and I got one face, but it just got too confusing after that. They think that they can't do it. Like I had a grandmother friend. She's like, my grandkids would be so excited, would be so impressed if I could do this. So the way their face changes, the way their eyes change from, that looks complicated, I don't think I can do that, to, oh my gosh, it worked. It worked. How did that happen? It did it. And inside of 2 hours they leave with knowing they can pick up any complexity cube and put it down solved. 2 1-hour sessions, it's what I usually do in real life. So today I'm playing with the Minxes. Let's show you what the Minx, I showed you what the A and B does on those. For formula A, like I said, you can't do formula A for the absolute center on this one. It just doesn't work. But you can do formula A for the corners. So bottom row, right column. You just kind of morph this into a into a square in your mind. Bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up, and it brought this piece. You switch these 2 pieces around and did a bunch of other stuff. But if I do it again, it puts them back but has twisted them both. Okay, so that's, and then if it continue, and a multiple of 6 gets you back to where you began. So if you want to have any effect in the middle of your 6 set, you'll move the top to preserve whatever you want to have been changed. Okay, so that's formula A. Formula B, to work on the corners is still the top row and outside column, so I blend this into one face in my mind. And top row, first column, second column, slide up, slide down, and that moves, we just moved 3 cubes around. Let's do it again, because if 3 times goes back to start. So the first time you just look at it and say, okay, this is deduct what has happened. But if you have it done twice, then you can see what is going to happen, and it's easier for me to see that way. So when I do this one more time, this one will move here, this one will move here, and this one will move here. So these are the 3 that move with formula B for the corners. Formula B for larger, if the 2 columns are on one, if one of the 2 columns is your center column, you're going to have extra movement. It's going to move more than just 3 pieces. But if both columns are on the same, you can move edge pieces with formula B. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and it moves just the 3 pieces. Up, down, down. And once more, this is going to go there. So line up the corners to match the front. Look at the top color to determine its direction. First column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins. It's the exact same thing as with the cube. Now the difference between the cube and the minxes with formula B is if your one of the 2 columns is the center column, because you're working on the star parts of the cube, the minx, it has ancillary movements as well. So it does not move just the 3 pieces you want to move, it moves other pieces as well. Now I will demonstrate on this. So if I want to move this one right here, these 2 pieces are going to move, but more pieces are also going to move. So up, down, down. The whole cube kind of moves when you do it. So the middle column. Okay, so these 3 moved. A bunch of the corners did as well. But I'm going to set this up, down, down. Okay, so you can see how these 3 pieces move. Like I said, when you move when you move the star pieces, other things move as well, but you can affect the other things without moving the star. So I'm going to set these corners correctly so that you can see that you can move the star by itself. So usually I do the star first, order of operations, and I do the non-star parts second. So have I done? Okay. What did I do here? Oh, that's right. This is I'm gonna reset my corners here. Up, so it doesn't get me confused. Down, down. Okay. So my edges are offset. These 3. So now I'm going to work on these corners. This corner wants to go over there. This one wants to go there. So these 3 want to move in this direction. So formula B will put them in the right spot. Up, up, down, down. I'm working on the corners, leaving the edges the way they are. So that I'm leaving these edges one step off. Okay, but I'm going to correct the corners. So this one is in the right spot, needs to be twisted. This one's correct. This one's in the right spot, needs to be twisted. And formula A is how we twist. Bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. When it's correct, I'm going to slide that out of the way to protect it. This one doesn't want to be twisted, but this one does. So I'm going to finish. There's formula A3, out, down, in, up, 4, out, down, in, up, 5, out, down, in, up, 6, and the rest of the cube has been unaffected again. And I set the top, and so the corners are correct, but so it is possible to move. So to affect the edges, it's going to affect the corners as well. So for the last layer, at least, you want to do the edges before you do the corners. So let's leave that there. Any have any questions, comments, queries, posters, denials? Tell me where you are in the world, where you're watching me from. What's your favorite scramble? What's your favorite cube? This is not a speed solving method. This is not a fewest moves method. But dealing with large cubes, it takes me about the same. You know, I'm not a speed cuber. I have beaten a minute once, maybe more, but only once that I know of. My average is 1.5 minutes on the 3x3, 5 minutes on the 5x5. But like I said, I can teach it inside of 2 hours, and then with no cheat sheet to carry around. You just Formula A, Formula B is all you need. You can put that on a keychain. I'm going to put that on a keychain for you. All right, so there's an order of operations for the minxes. You got it. I do the star parts first, but I do go layer by layer. Because it's just easier it's easier for me to do the centers first before the outsides on the minxes, because there's more setup. If I work outside in, there's more setting up of than is on the minx on the cube, because of the more different faces. So I do centers out, star parts first on the minx. I do corners, then edges, then centers on the cubes themselves. So yesterday I did the white star and the white corners, and then I did the next layer of the star tips. Okay, and so that is done on all of these. Now I go face down, because like I said, you saw what the Formula B does for this is it for the edges is it moves these three and also the top layer, but my top layer is scrambled, so I don't care if my white face is down. So I work white down and up towards the gray sides. Identify the cube as the white and the bold colors, and then the gray and the pastel colors. So what I'm looking for now, next thing I'm going to do is the first corners, the corners on the white sides. Okay, so I'm looking for a corner with 2 bolds and 1 pastel. Here's one. So it's red, blue, and pink. It's on the top, it's on the gray side. I move it above the gray, above where it wants to be. It wants to land right here. So I line it up to the center and slide it down, same as I did for the first white star. Okay. Here, this one is 2 green and purple. So I line it up to the pastel side and I drop it down. Okay, I can do it using Formula B if the other things are in place. If my star parts were already set, then I could move them into place just using Formula B on the corners. But I don't have the star part set, so I'm taking a shortcut here. This has a gray on it. This has 2 pastels. This has a gray on it. Here we go. Blue and yellow are the bolds. Come over to the pastel side. Line up the corner to the pastel side and drop it down. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. I've got 2 more to find. Okay, here's one. It's already on the pastel side. I can just drop that down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 1 more. We're looking for the green, purple, and yellow corner. Here it is, lined up. Drop it down. Okay. I'm going to do so. That's on this one. I'm going to do that for all of them before I move into Formula B to place the star tips. So line up to the pastel color and above where it wants to be, and drop it down. There's 1. This one, line it up to the pink and drop it down. That's 2. This one is lined up to the pastel and drop it down. That's 3. This one has 2 pastels, 2 pastels, 2 pastels. Okay, so we're looking for, we got 1. We're looking for the red and green. Here's one. It's the two double bolds. So I'm going to go up, down, and back. That's the inverse of A. It's the upside down of A. So now it's up on the top where I can work with it. Okay, line it up go to the pastel side. Okay, line it up to the center and drop it down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we still have the red and green we're looking for right here, about pastel side. Match it and drop it down. Okay, so that's that one. Let's do that again. 1, 2, this one. Line it up to the pastel and drop it down. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Lined up to the pastel, drop it down. 1, 2, 3. Line it up to the pastel, drop it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm still looking for, okay, here's blue and yellow. Bring it to the top. Matches the center color, drop it down. So I've got one. We're still looking for some more. Here's the red and blue one. Bring it to the top and leave everything else the same. Bring it to the pink color. Line it up and drop it down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that one's done. Okay, so another one. Let's looking for double bold corners. One. Oh, this one's already done. This one's done. This one's done. This one's done. So this one. Okay. Okay, double bold. Bring it up to the pastel side. Drop it down. Double bold. Bring it to the pastel side. Drop it down. Just 2. Okay. Here's one. Okay, I don't want to. I bring it up, over, and down, or upside down would be out, down, and up. So bring it to the pastel side. Line it up, and drop it down. Okay. So we got one. Let's see what else we've got. Here's one. Up, over, down. It's lined up with line it up with the pastel, and drop it down. So the first corner is done the same way I did the star tips. Okay, so now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That ones are all done. Okay, so I've got the white stars, the white corners, the white side tips, and the white side corners. Okay, so now I'm going layer by layer. So next I'm going to be looking for the star tips that have only a single bold on them. Okay, this one is double bold, this one is a single bold. I don't sit here and say, where's my blue and green one? And I just look for a piece that's wrong. So here, this one is pink and blue, bold color's blue, so bring it over above the blue, okay, and it's going to land here. I line it, okay, it's matching the pink, but the blue's on this side, so I go this way, and it's going to go above this corner, so I bring this corner up, and then this one's is going to land above this corner. So formula B, this using this column and this column, it's going to land here. It begins here. Start by moving it away. So I'm going to move it away, up, away, down, back, down. So I go away, up, back, up, away, down, back, down. And then I reset the layer. Okay, so I offsetted it to place it, and I reset it. Okay, so B, as written, moves a piece from the top front to the side, to the front left. In order to move it to the right, you do the mirror of each of the actions. But it's still the first column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins. You start by moving away from where it's going to end up. And then, so it's either direction, it's the same, up, up, down, down. So this one's placed, this one double bold, this one has a green bold. So I move it above the green. It's going to land in this direction, but blue is the front face, so I'm going to offset my blue to bring the corner up, and I'm going to have it match the center first. So this one's going to the right, to the left. So it's going to be as written. It's going to be away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, down. Okay, slide up, slide up, slide down, and then reset my blue side. Okay, so that my white sides stay. This has a gray, this has a red, so I bring it above the red. It's going to land here. So red is on this side of the line, so I go over here. I offset it to bring my corner up. I line up to the center, and it's going in this direction. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And then reset my pink. Okay, so the pink ones, the pink corners and star tips for the pink. So this one's done. This one wants to go here, this one wants to go here. In order to do that, I'm going to have to displace one of them. So I offset my yellow to line it up. I'm going to put a gray piece in there, which will bring this piece to the top. Up, up, down, down. Okay, and then reset. And then it's back here, so I bring it forward. It's above where it's above where it wants to land here, so I move it to the side. I offset my yellow so that it's lined up to land here, and this is B as written. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and set. Okay, and then this piece that I was working with is now here, so I bring it above the yellow and red. Okay, so I'm going to go right here. So away, set my side, line up the center, and it's going in this direction. Up, up, down, down, and then reset. Now, if I didn't want to do a set and a reset, what I could do Formula B twice. So this wants to go here. I can either set it up so it lands there, or if it's too confusing for me to offset and reset, I can move this plate, move it here, and then move it here. So I can do it in 2 steps. So I can move it here and then to here. Up, up, down, down. Okay, now this wants to go there, but I still want my action to take place on top because it offsets the corners, and I don't want any of these corners down here to be affected. So this is going to go here, up. Since I still have to do an offset anyway, I may as well not have done it with 2, and then down. Okay, double pastel, here's a blue. It wants to go here. I line it up, and then it's to the left, B as written, up, up, down, down, and reset. Okay, so the greens are done, the pinks are done, the yellows are done, the blue and orange still have more. So I need to, looking for purples now. Here's the purple and blue. Okay, offset the blue to line it up to land here, up, up, down, down, and reset. Okay, and one just looking for the last single bold edge piece right here. Bring it above where it wants to be. Set it, and it's going to the left, to the right, so it's a mirror of B. Up, up, down, down, and set. So now we've got the white stars, white corners, the second layer star tips done. Then we've got this layer corners, and then we've got the next the equator layer of the star tips. Okay. The next thing to do is to do these corner part, the other corner parts of the center. Now these are I'm going to place them because it's easier to see visually what other pieces need to be affected. If these ones are visually, I can tune them out because they're in place. They are going to be displaced, however, when I do the last layer of the star chips, because as long as I know that's going to happen ahead of time, I don't care. It still is easier for me to have them positioned correctly. So I'm looking for a corner that has any color, any bold on it. Here's a yellow. Bring it above where it wants to be. If this star tip was correct, I could set it using Formula B in this way, but because it's not, I'm just going to do the inverse, do Formula A to bring it where it is. Now, I said Formula A, that was a smooth move. If I had done it this way, it would have been a Formula A, because Formula A is the upside down of the sexy move. So that's gray, gray, gray. Here's a blue. I'll show you what I mean. So this one wants to go here. To move it up into place, bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, and up, out, down, and up. Okay, but I save the regrip and just do the sexy move here, but I still call it A. So bring this one down, place it. Okay, so this one's done, this one's done, this one's done. I need the red and the green still. The red one's over here, so let's find the green one to displace it. Oh, the green one's over here. All right, so I'm going to, I don't want to move this. This one's correct. I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to move this to the top by using the formula B. It's going to place it to the top row. So up, up, down, down. And I left that alone. And so now I bring it above where it wants to go. And I'm going to drop it down. There it is. And this one also, I'm going to use formula B so I don't displace this one. Up, up, down, down. Okay, so white's done, bolds are done. Okay, and then going layer by layer, the next one would be to do this, the gray side tips. Okay, so find a tip on top that does not have gray on it, bring it to match the front, determine its direction, away up, in, up, away down, in, down. Oh wait, I wasn't going to do that yet. I was going to do that on all of my cubes. Forget it. I'll do these tomorrow. I'm going to finish this one. Best laid plans. I was trying. He's going to use these in the future for the Minx tutorial that I have. So I have a Minx tutorial similar to the cube tutorial that I have a playlist for on YouTube. YouTube, you guys. Thank you so much for helping me get on. I have 100 followers on YouTube now. I have 94 followers here, 100 on YouTube. I made triple digits, you guys. I'm so excited. So thank you. Thank you for following me there. That's awesome. So whites, bolds, the next step is the side thing. So here's a gray, here's a gray, here's a gray, here's a gray, here's a not a gray. Match the front, determine its direction. Away up, in, up. Away down, in, down. Okay, and matches the front, going in this direction. Away up, in, up. Away down, in, down. There it is. So 1, 2, okay, here's one going in this direction. So this is B as written. Away, up, in, up. Away, down, in, down. Just so you're aware, when I was creating this method, I didn't use the mirror of the B. I just used formula B. So what I would do is I would place it to the left, even if it wanted to go to the right by placing it. I would place it where it's flipped, but I would still use formula B because I'd use it to where it was flipped, and then I'd use formula B to flip to later on. So it's possible to just use formula B as written and not use the mirror of formula B. It's just that it's easier to use the mirror of the B. But if you only want to use, you can solve the cube and the Minx just using A and just using B. You don't have to use any mirrors or adaptations. You can still do it. So if it's confusing to go to the left and the right, you can just place B either correctly or flipped to the left, and that works just as well. And again, this is for newbies. This is for non-cubers. This is not for speed solving. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's done. Okay. The last layer. I'm going to do the last layer on this one, but I'm going to save the last layer for all of these for another step. So who do we have today? Anyway, if you've just joined me, thank you. Hi, I'm Sunshine. I'm the creator of the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Works on every complexity Rubik's Cube, every complexity Minx. I don't know about the pair Minxes yet. I have not tried it because I don't have my hot little hands on a pyramid. So when I do, I will. So, all right, when you get to this stage, all that's left is the top layer. On larger cubes, it's the top layers. It's anything above that star tip. Okay, so the larger your cube is, the more layers you have. But at this point in time, I call them, they're the top layers. I told you I'm going to do the star parts first before I do the corners, because when I do the star parts, the corners are going to get to be affected. So one of three things will have happened at this point in time. If you're looking at the gray side, looking at the star tips, as the ones that are gray side up will be an odd number. It'll either be 1 or 3 or 5. Okay? But the first thing we're going to do before we worry about getting the corners, the gray side on top, is we're going to see if they're in the right place. But we're going to pick one of the things where it's already on gray side on top, and we're going to line that up. We're going to see how many things are in the right place when I do that. And oh, look at this. Everything is in the right place. Okay, so that saves us a step. Doesn't usually happen. You usually have to move the star tips around. So these ones are in the right place. Maybe I should do another one to. All right, we just skipped a step. Anyway, so now what I need to do is I'm going to flip the sides, flip the tips. I'm going to flip. I can only flip 2 at a time. The 2 that I know how to flip are adjacent. These ones are opposite each other. I know how to flip the adjacent ones. So I'm going to flip these 2, and then I'm going to flip these 2. Okay, so that I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do here, I'm going to do twice. Okay, actually I'm going to do these 2 and then these 2. So I'm going to flip these 2. These are the three pieces that are going to move on formula B for centers. So I'm going to offset my orange so that these are the 3 pieces that are being affected. Okay, so these are the 2 that are going to switch. This cube is going to move forward, and then as I do the reverse later on, it's going to move back. So I'm going to place this here, slide up, slide down, and then I reset my orange, my left, but I keep moving it again to offset it as my right piece as well. And then on this piece that I'm going to do formula B to the right now, opposite, up, down, down. So the third piece has found its way back where it was, and these 2 pieces flipped. Now I'm going to do the same thing for these 2. Offset my left, formula B to the left, reset my left, turn the cube around, and what was left is now right, and then offset my right, and do B to the right, and then reset my right. So now, not only are they all in the right place, but they're all oriented their correct position, correct way, and that did displace some of my corners, and that's okay because I know how to place them. Now that my star tips are placed, I'm going to be placing the corners with my formula B rather than just dropping it into place. So I find a piece on top that has a bold color. Okay, this wants to come to here. I can either go here and then here and then here, or I can come over here and drop it in one place right there. So because these 3 are the columns that move up, up. I don't care about the other 2 columns. I'm just placing my bold piece where it wants to be. Okay, and then reset. So that one's correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're looking for the green. Here it is. It wants to land here. So again, I can move these 3, which will drop this one here, or I can move it over here, which will drop this one there. It doesn't matter which way I do it. So I'm going to move these 3, which will drop this one down. So up, down, down, and it is in place, but it wants to flip, wants to twist. So we twist using formula A. So the cube that wants to twist has to be on the top layer. Yellow is my top right now. So I'm going to twist this one, but I have to twist 2. I can't twist just one, so I'm going to twist this one, and then I'm going to figure out my 6 set, do the remainder of the 6 set on this other piece that I don't care that twists. So I'm going to do this until it's correct, and then I'm finish my 6 set with this corner. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, It's the way I want it, slide it out of the way. That's the way I want it, slide it out of the way. Continue on this one. And I don't have to count, I mean I can count, but when it gets to the 6th one, the rest of the cube will be unaffected. So reset that, and we're back to dealing with the top. So my bolts are, okay, I've still got a yellow one to find. Here's a yellow. Bring it above. I'm going to drop it down with B for these 3. That leaves my star tips the way they unaffected. Okay, and then reset the top. Okay, so now I'm back to the last layer, but now my tips are correct. So now all I have left are the corners. At this point, I bring my grays to the top just so it's easier for me to see where everything is supposed to be. It's just easier for my eyes to see. So this one's correct, but I'm going to bring my grays to the top, and I'm going to do that with formula A until the gray's on top on all of my sides. Okay, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. Okay, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. And when the grays are on top on all sides, that will have been a multiple of 6, and the rest of the thing is correct. So reset my tips. So this is correct. This one's not, this one's not, this is correct, and this one's not. So I'm going to have to move some pieces around. Okay, either way, whether I work around this one or work around this one, either way, the one that wants to be in this corner is over here. So what I'm going to do formula B to move these 3 corners, because this one wants to come here. So I'm going to move it here, and then I'm going to twist it and bring it here. So up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. And now it's here and wants to come this way, so I twist it. So these 3, it's going to place it right here. Up, up, down, down. Okay, these 2 are correct, so now I just have these 3 left to place. And they're either correct or they're not, and either way formula B is going to correct it, either once or twice, so it doesn't matter. I don't have to look and see, do I want to do it clockwise or counterclockwise, because my brain doesn't work well with clockwise and counterclockwise. So you're welcome to learn the inverse of B and do that instead of doing B twice if you want to, but for me it's easier to just do formula B. So up, up, down, down. Everything's in the right place. Formula A to twist them. Out, down, and up. Out, down, and up. Out, down, and up. Out, down, and up. Okay, that's happy. Slide it, continue until my 6 is complete. The rest of the cube is there, set the top, and boom! We did it! So, formula A, formula B, all I use for every complexity Rubik's Cube, every complexity Minx. What's the next cube I'm going to get? I'm going to be getting, I have not yet ordered, but I will be getting on my wish list is a Minx, and I also want to try the Ghost Cube. I had not wanted to try the Ghost Cube because it looks scary. Shapeshifters are not my favorites. However, I've been told that it's just a 3x3 mod, that the internals is just a 3x3, in which case ABCube method should work on it fine. ABCube method also works on this cube. This is a 3x3x9, and the A and B works. There's just a slight modification when you're getting to the 9 side, and that is that with formula B, there's a lot of this going on. Every other move is horizontal, every other horizontal is the reverse one before it. And with a 3x3x9, I go like this, and I can't move my inner columns because there's binding, they're bound. So the difference that I made, the slight adaptation I made, is for every horizontal, instead of 1 time, it's now twice. So I make a double move, and then my formula B works to affect the columns and centers of the 9 side just fine. So formula A and B works for this, but B is mildly adapted. So that's it. That's me for today. I'm going to come back and work on these I'm going to try to do in stages rather than just plowing through. So I'm going to come back and do these tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. I hope you go have a fun day. Go be nice to yourself and drink lots of water. And I will be back here tomorrow. Come join me. Bye, you guys.